came in from the courtroom to the street. We keep it sharp, no filler, just a beat. Baker in session, we're on the case, tracking the details, keeping the pace. From the latest twist to the things you missed. Baker in session, you don't want to skip this. Ongoing trials, headlines and threads. Sometimes a surprise or a story that spreads. We bring you the updates, stories unfold. No sugarcoat, no drama, just the truth told. Baker in session, we're on the case, tracking the details, keeping the pace. From the latest twist to the things you missed. Baker in session, you don't want to skip this. Ongoing trials, headlines and threads. Sometimes a surprise or a story that spreads. We bring you the updates, stories unfold. No sugarcoat, no drama, just the truth told. Baker in session, we're on the case, tracking the details, keeping the pace. From the latest twist to the things you missed. Baker in session, you don't want to skip this. Baker in session, we're on the case, tracking the details, keeping the pace. From the latest twist to the things you missed. Baker in session, you don't want to skip this. Don't want to skip this. Baker in session, we're on the case, tracking the details, keeping the pace. From the latest twist to the things you missed. Baker in session, you don't want to skip this. Baker in session, you don't want to skip this. Don't want to skip this.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, and what, if any, you might be. And welcome to a new format, because there's nothing going on but the rent. So I found a few updates on some of the cases we are following, and we might have Krusty in court later. Her lawyer was late, so court was suspended, and maybe we'll see her. Maybe the judge will kick us out, but it could be fun to see old Krusty. She washed her hair. I saw her in the courtroom before the judge ended the session, so she looks almost human today. But as I put in the headline, there's updates on the Fitzsimmons trial, on the Brian Walshe, and then maybe we're lucky and we can get some Krusty. But did I make a dum-dum? Was it 10:50 or 10:15 they were back, Marissa? I might have made a dum-dum, because then I have to talk for a very, very long time, because I thought, hey, I'll get some Krusty, but well, we're gonna figure it out. Hey, Carol Sue and Gail, Tracy. It's finally Friday after a week of Monday. Celebrate by joining Discord. Please do. You are more than welcome. Hola, Senor Fedorowski. But the big thing I was looking at, hey Sue, the big thing I was looking at was the news about the Fitzsimmons trial. Kelsey Fitzsimmons, if you can't remember, she was the police officer who was pew-pewed by a fellow officer. She had been suffering from postpartum depression, and the stories vary. Did she go into her room when she was supposed to turn over her firearm, pull it out, point it at her colleague, or did she do the attempt to self-delete and her colleague put one in her chest? So far, because of course there's no body cam, we have each side has told their story, and in most cases, you have one side and the other side, and the truth is somewhere in between those two sides. But she was charged with armed assault with intention to unalive and 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon. And that went to a grand jury, and this is what this story is about today. So let's get into it. Kelsey Fitzsimmons were initially charged with an armed assault with intent to unalive and 2 counts of assault. Nope, that's not what I want to do. Sorry. Don't do that. So Kelsey Fitzsimmons were initially charged with armed assault with intent to unalive and 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon, but was indicted by a grand jury on only 1 count of assault by means of a dangerous weapon. The off-duty police officer pew-pewed at her home by a fellow North Andover, Massachusetts officer in June appeared in court on Thursday, where a judge outlined the conditions under which she can be released on bail. Kelsey Fitzsimmons can be released into the custody of her parents while the case against her plays out. And in what this is written like they don't speak English. An Essex Superior Court judge ruled following her indictment this week on a single count of assault by means of a dangerous weapon. She had initially been arraigned in Lawrence District Court on charges of armed assault with intent to unalive and 2 counts of assault with a dangerous weapon, to which she pled not guilty. Fitzsimmons entered a new plea of not guilty before a judge found her to be a danger to the community, but the judge is allowing her to be released to her parents with some very significant conditions. And this is Miss Fitzsimmons. Fitzsimmons was pew-pewed during an armed confrontation with fellow officers who were serving her with a court-ordered restraining order, police says. Fitzsimmons showed a pew-pew. But she and her lawyer have pushed back. The theory of the government's case here is that Kelsey intended to unalive a cop, which is outrageous and completely ridiculous, said one of her attorneys, Tim Bradle. The incident stems from a restraining order taken out by her fiancé, who wrote in court documents, "I strongly believe that Miss Fitzsimmons will cause physical harm and emotional harm to our child." The fiancé also told the court he was assaulted. Fitzsimmons says his client is suffering from postpartum. It's not Fitzsimmons, it's Bradle. There's so many mistakes in this article. I'm sorry. Bradle says his client is suffering from postpartum, a temporary condition. This is a woman who was suffering from an affliction, and based on words on a piece of paper, had 3 policemen come to her house and take her 5-month-old baby, Bradle said. Fitzsimmons has also shared a statement saying she never, as alleged, pointed her pew-pew at other officers as they served a court order to take away her child. She claimed that body camera footage would show she was being wrongly accused of pointing her pew-pew at the officer, while saying she did pull the trigger while pointing a pew-pew at her own head after passing her child to colleagues. Grand juries review prosecutors' allegations and decided whether or not the evidence is enough to bring charges. She's been held without bail at her initial arraignment. The district attorney's office again asked Fitzsimmons to be held. Judge Kathleen McCarthy-Neyman ruled Fitzsimmons is a danger, but agreed to release her to her mother and stepfather with 24-hour home confinement and no contact with their child. She is due back in court on October 7th. Police initially shared some details about the viewing, but not many beyond the specifics of what happened in the armed confrontation. But a statement of facts submitted to Lawrence District Court has said that Fitzsimmons' fiancé has sought and was granted an abuse prevention order out of Essex Probation and Family Court after she allegedly assaulted him the weekend before the viewing, causing him to fear her and also fear that she would hurt their 4-month-old child if he were to leave her. Fitzsimmons has allegedly assaulted her fiancé in the past as well. Police were at her Philip Brook Road home that night to serve Fitzsimmons with her restraining order and to inform her that the fiancé was obtaining court-ordered custody of their child. As Fitzsimmons was gathering her infant's belongings, including diapers and clothes, she went up to the second floor of the house, escorted by 2 officers. When she learned her fiancé had arrived to collect his belongings, she asked one of the officers to keep her fiancé away from her, so that officer went downstairs, leaving Fitzsimmons and just one other officer, documents show. A lieutenant who was on the first floor at the time of the incident said in an interview on July 2nd that he heard the officer who was upstairs yell, "Kelsey, don't do it, Kelsey, don't do it," followed by 2 pew-pews, according to court documents. Officers immediately began administering aid to Fitzsimmons while medics were treating her. The officer who shot Fitzsimmons told the lieutenant that prior to her the shooting, Fitzsimmons has pointed the pew-pew at her, which is when he then shot her. This makes no sense. I think they really need to fact check this one. She must have pointed the firearm at him, which is when he then shot her. In another interview on July 3rd, the officer who had went downstairs just before Fitzsimmons was pewed said that she had told police that all of her firearms were locked in a safe in the basement. He said moments after he went downstairs, he heard the officer who was upstairs scream, "Kelsey," followed by 2 pew-pews. He immediately ran upstairs, saw Fitzsimmons laying on the ground, and asked the other officer what happened. That officer stated that Fitzsimmons pointed a pew-pew at him, pulled the trigger, and then racked a round of ammunition, according to court documents. The officer who pewed Fitzsimmons was also interviewed on July 2nd, at which time he provided a statement that was similar to the other officer and lieutenant who were in the home when the incident occurred. According to the officer, Fitzsimmons was packing clothes and books for her child, kneeling on the ground, folding laundry in her bedroom while he was standing in the doorway. The officer told detectives that he saw Fitzsimmons face towards him, lunge toward an area behind the door, and then reappear, pointing a pew-pew directly at him. He said Fitzsimmons pulled the trigger and he heard the firearm click, but no pew was fired. According to the documents, the officer told detectives that Fitzsimmons then began to stand up as he pulled his firearm out of its holster. Fitzsimmons then began to rack the firearm to chamber around, and he gave several commands such as "drop the pew" and "don't do it." He said at this point he knew Fitzsimmons was trying to unalive him. He then fired 1 round, and Fitzsimmons continued trying to chamber around, so he fired a 2nd round, striking her. In her statement, Fitzsimmons shared a different set of facts. "My firearm was never pointed in any direction other than my temple. While I pulled the trigger, my gun did not fire. However, I immediately got shot in the chest by my colleague and friend," Fitzsimmons wrote on July 17th. She also noted being open about a diagnosis of postpartum depression, which her lawyer discussed in a previous statement, in which she suggested that police could have responded differently as the confrontation unfolded. Fitzsimmons was on leave at the time of the incident. Fitzsimmons is expected to be released as early as today, after probation confirms all of the conditions are met. She remains on the North Andover Police Department on administrative leave while these charges are investigated. Well, other than this probably being one of the worst written articles we have seen so far, there's a lot of facts that doesn't line up with what we heard in the initial reporting, because in the initial reporting, they allegedly went upstairs to retrieve her firearm, and when she was pulling it out, that's when she pointed it at the fellow officer, according to the first statements we got at that time. That sounds weird. How is she not in a mental institute? Because postpartum depression isn't something you get hospitalized with. It's a depression. It's normally treated with therapy and antidepressants. So I don't know. She has been in a mental institution, was treated, and was sent home again. I don't believe a word of any of those 3 officers. They shut their body cameras off before going upstairs. Well, if they were wearing body cams and they turned them off, that is probably against the rules. I think the cop changed his statement. She said she pointed it at herself, so he viewed her, then said he was pointing at him. Yeah, that's what I remember as well. What we heard. Oh, Brandon is low, Swaysher. Well, F you, Sue. Yeah, and she was sectioned for a short while, and then she was home. It's new information that she apparently attacked her boyfriend. That hasn't been mentioned in anything. Remember, the timeline we got from her statement was she had a date with her boyfriend at a park where she took her baby and spent 3 hours there. That also sounds kind of weird. Why would you hang out in a park waiting for something for 3 hours, especially with a baby? Babies don't stay up for 3 hours. Babies will, at that age, an hour, 90 minutes, and then they'll be back to sleep. So to me, that was one of the things I didn't really understand in her story, that she would be standing around in a park for 3 hours waiting for her boyfriend, not calling him, not doing anything. But that's allegedly when he went to the court and claimed that she was a danger to him and the child. So what's up, what's down, we don't know. Again, her story, his story, the truth. But there's significant shifts in the details we have heard from the first reporting to this reporting. And maybe it's just because it's Massachusetts, but I just got that weird tingly feeling in my bladder whenever statements are changed in Massachusetts. I have no knowledge of her doing that. We haven't. Hasn't been in any of the articles I've read. It's Sue who says that it's not worth watching my show. Free me. I don't know what's going on. The hate is a lot of today. The report was she assaulted her boyfriend in Maine. I haven't seen any of that. I haven't seen any of the filings in this case. Haven't been out there, so I don't know if any documents or any filings with court exist. I wonder if the boyfriend had talked to the cops about her before the incident that day. Well, he had filed a restraining order that day. He went to the courthouse that day, filed a restraining order, and was granted custody of their child. So, yes, he must have talked to the police. And if he was called to the house to pick up the baby, that's a new fact as well. We haven't heard that fact before, that the boyfriend was at the house. This is my problem with all of this, because it's Massachusetts. Why are we getting so much additional information now than we had in the beginning? That's the thing. Because we read her Fitzsimmons statement, and there's nowhere where in that where she mentions that she told the cop to keep her boyfriend away. She mentioned she went upstairs to grab her firearm and turn it over to another officer. This is what her statement said to begin with. And now you have a sergeant. Oh, you have a trooper who stays downstairs. You have a lieutenant and another trooper that goes upstairs. Then the lieutenant goes down again to keep the boyfriend away. Why isn't he just yelling, "Hey, Johnny, keep him down there"? And we have never had that. Oh, she lunged and went behind the door and grabbed a pew. I don't know how houses are there, but normally in my bedroom we have one door, and a police officer would be at the door to make sure nothing happened in the room. So she lunges at him, goes behind the door, grabs it, comes out. Whoopsie, I forgot to do this. And then he pews her. I don't know. It just sounds a little weird in my book, but what do I know? Stop harassing. Let's go. He's attempting to claim he was sick. They had swept it under the rug. Still, I haven't seen any reports on it. I don't say it's not true. Oh, that was Krusty. Is that her boyfriend she has with her in court? Well, when her case is called, we're going to switch to that one. I don't... What's your channel, Brandon, so I can go watch it? Sorry. The initial police statement was to spin the narrative that to make the victim the villain again. Now the story keeps changing. To me, it just sounds a little bit weird that the story is evolving so much, because it's a whole nother setup than the first report, which was they were going to collect the firearm. Now they're going to pack a baby bag and everything is fine. And then she lunges behind the door and pull it out. Doesn't make sense. Yes. Then Sue would have been nice to you. It sounds totally weird that they would allow a woman known to be unstable to wander around her house getting pews, etc., while simultaneously taking her child. It's a recipe for disaster. That's the other thing I don't understand. If I need to turn down the court because I can hear it in background. If she really was such a danger to society and she was so cray-cray, we need to take her kid away. She's a danger to everyone. Again, remember the first statement. We went with her to get her pew. Why would you do that if she's so scary that you have to take care of her? It just seems really, really, really weird that that's how it's gonna go. And why would you send one away if she's such a danger and you know she is potentially armed? To me, it just sounds weird. I mean, they're all mentally unstable. It's the weapon part. Yeah, well, I read some of the Twitter comments that if we just don't have weapons, no one would die because it's the weapons who do it. Yeah, don't be nice to Brandon. He treat him like his wife does. Just yell at him constantly. I want to know why CPS was there to take the child, because her boyfriend had filed a motion. Oh fuck! Sorry.
My client was traveling through the intersection, stopped in the regular course of traffic. They
Can you hear
began
it?
harassing her, yelling, and
And by the way, the word you're saying is in the police report.
absolutely, yes, it is.
Right.
I'm arguing from the four corners of the police report.
Got it, go ahead.
So that being said, they're asking her, she's at the red light.
Is the word harass in the police report toward your client?
They're yelling comments at her because they know that And
And
the
the
photo
only
of the
reason I
other
say
side.
that, folks, is I'm
Right.
not the jury, but I'm gonna be riveted on the police.
That's right. I attached
So
it to the
these,
complaint.
so these Karen Reed supporters were yelling at your client.
That's correct.
Go.
The police report also indicates that my client was focused on the red light, and when the red light changed, she rolled down her window, made a comment to the group. There were approximately 50 of them. The alleged victim was in that group. Undisputed that my client didn't say, hey, call the victim by name. Reached out her hand and gave the group middle finger and proceeded. Those facts, on a violation of restraining order and intimidation of witness, it's just no probable cause as set forth in the full corners of this complaint, Judge. And the case should be dismissed.
Your Honor, we ask that you deny the motion as there is probable cause for both a 258E violation and a witness intimidation. Given the facts in the police report, we have, like Attorney McLeod said, it's a situation outside Norfolk County Superior Court during the pendency of Commonwealth v. Karen Reed Trial 1. It's a 90-degree day out, according to the police reports, July 11th, 2024. The video that was submitted in support of the police report here shows the defendant in her car stuck in traffic right outside Norfolk County.
And just interrupt, excuse me. So the video was part of
That's correct.
the evidence for the matter.
That's, in the police report, it reiterates what the observations were on the video.
So did the clerk see the video, or the clerk read the police report that talks about the video?
There
You
was,
understand the distinction?
Yes,
It talks about the video.
That's
it
right.
talks about the
It
video.
doesn't see the video, it talks about it. Go ahead.
Exactly. According to the description that's in the police report of the video, the defendant at that time, while she's in traffic, has her windows down on a 90-degree day, sticks her middle finger out at the crowd, which includes Miss Murray, who is in the video, is depicted in a black dress with a floral pattern, sunglasses, and sandals. Extends the middle finger to the crowd that Miss Murray is in, keeps it up, and then says something along the lines of "kill yourself," which Miss Murray explains and is explained in the police report, references a victim impact statement that was given in the defendant in Miss Murray's West Roxbury case, where she explained that she had suicidal ideation at that time. The police report also explains that she had an ongoing Stoughton District Court 258E violation at the time as well, which I would suggest was consciousness of guilt within the four corners of the police report. So given those facts, Your Honor, we do believe that there is probable cause for both witness intimidation and a 258E violation, and we'd ask that you deny the motion.
Do we all agree then, the issue is as simple as this, at a probable cause level, knowledge, right? Knowledge of the plaintiff at a probable cause level. It does.
I would say knowledge, and I would suggest intent is an issue as well.
Well, but you don't even, knowledge equals the intent. In other words, if the defendant had probable cause, if by probable cause, the defendant had knowledge that the plaintiff was in that group, then I think you win. If the defendant didn't have at a level of probable cause knowledge that the plaintiff is in the group, I don't see how they win. Am I oversimplifying
it's
this?
true, John. Your Honor, that's why I'm saying, look at the police report.
Yeah.
It doesn't appear, because there's no facts which the alleged victim states in the police report that she ever called out her name and
No, I-
points her out of a crowd of 50 people.
I heard that, but have I oversimplified?
No.
That is the issue.
That
correct?
is,
Yes.
It's under advisement.
I
Okay,
can't
thank you.
stop it
Thank you, Your Honor.
doing
All
Zoom.
set? Yeah, further call for a contribution.
She needs to pay the legal fee for the call for that. What date do you want on next event? Yeah. he's on there. I already told you.
I know that. We're all getting older, I'm just trying to speak.
Yeah.
October 17th.
10/17, C&E, parties will be notified when there's a decision.
All right.
For the
you.
call for a receipt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Cromwell versus Andrew Coe. Probation. Theo Vaughn.
All right.
So nothing much in that. They were just talking about if there was a probable cause to continue with the trial against Krusty. This stems from the witness who wrote a letter in Aidan Carney's case talking about how she had knowledge that Krusty had been in contact with certain of the people connected to the to Aidan case. She then, outside of the court, sticks her Sue out the window and yells, "Go unalive yourself," to a woman who has a restraining order, who I believe she's her neighbor or lives in the same building as her. And this is what they were trying to figure out. Do they have probable cause to continue with this case? And of course, her defense attorney says, well, she didn't know she was there, and she was just they heckled her, so she was just responding. And the state will then say, well, she was clearly there, and she drove there with her windows down, so she was putting herself in that situation. So it was Maureen something. So it just got pushed. So we'll have to see what, if any, happens. And I just got a Zoom link for that we have looked for all day. It's over. So nothing happened really today. Lauren Murray. Lauren Murray was the name. She was the lady who talked about how she had knowledge that Krusty was paid cash, I believe, and how she had gotten a couch, and that she talked about her connections to Tully and maybe Morrissey. I believe we read it, her filing or her affidavit at some point. Well, at least they didn't dismiss it, because that's what the defense wanted. They wanted it dismissed. This was just all of this all day has just been, okay, let's set up. But she has to pay court costs. So that's nice. Hey, Tom, how are you doing? Not Maureen. What? Who? Lauren has been victim because she knew Aiden Turtleboy, so for many years Krusty has harassed her, and she has several restraining orders against her. So she's not the neighbor who signed the affidavit. Can I just say, if you have so many restraining orders against you and you have done so much bad shit that I can't follow what the hell you are in court for, you probably should try and do less crime. I'm just saying, to me, it's a little hard to follow along with all of Krusty, but maybe this court date is why she hasn't been online for a week. Well, I don't think there's a lot of people that hate her. I think she hates a lot of people. That's a big problem. Oh, Lauren and Aiden dated, but are still friends. Jemima, make me a timeline. It is hard to keep up. I am mixing up all of my stories. I know that because I can't follow Canton crazy. There's been so much shit coming out the last week that I am overloaded with craziness from Canton. And Krusty is probably the epicenter of 95% of all the craziness in Canton. And she probably doesn't even live in Canton. But it was just because I wanted to see her in court. And we only saw a glimpse of her. She had washed her hair. But she will be back in court on, I believe, the 17th of October, a Friday. Sounds weird. Or did he say 27th? 27th is a Monday. But it was just to find a court date where they can continue the case. That's my problem. And she has restraining orders against her from Aiden, and she keeps harassing him online. It was just to set up another court date and to see if there was probable cause to continue with the case, or it would be thrown out. And as the judge say, if the facts are as the defense said, you win. So yeah. Well, this probably won't continue for years, but this is how most court dates are. They're hearing a court they're coming in saying, how do you plead? I plead not guilty. Okay, be back here September 12th. And it's just, there was a lot in the morning. They needed a Chinese interpreter and a Costa Rican interpreter. And there's a lot of things. It takes a lot. Is my memory made of rubber? You don't know the names either. And I was trying to set it up when it came in. I can't hear everything, Marissa. Her name is Jean. Who shows up to court? Well, if you're summoned, you better do it, or you can do like our friend from last week who got caught by the popo and put in prison till you go to court. Well, she was high, so, and I F you, YouTube, because I can't use that clip. I'm more surprised that she has a lawyer because she has no money. I don't know how she found money to pay for this lawyer because I know that her skanky girlfriend, no, they're not friends anymore. Her former skanky, no, she's still a skank. Her skanky former girlfriend online sourced money for a retainer and never paid that retainer. And now Grant, the idiot, is trying to raise money because he hopes that if he gets her money, he can get in her pants. I think, maybe, allegedly. And I think you could do it for less money than $500. I'm pretty sure. I don't know what the street value of an 8-ball is these days, but I'm pretty sure you could. That would give you a good chance, allegedly, in Minecraft. I don't know. But he's raising money to her defense fund right now, and he's matching the first $500. How he's matching $500 in donations when at the same time he's begging for gas money? Don't ask me. It's Canton. It doesn't make sense. Are your memory made of rubber? Well, it's kind of the same. She yells at me and there's no smacks. So it is like being married. Oh, it was a public defender. Well, hope he does bad. She's never going to sleep with Grant. Don't you put that juju on him, because someday she's been through everyone and Frankie 20 times, and then Grant will have his chance. But so nothing really new in Krusty, other than she'll be back in court because, well, she'll be back in court on this case as well because she has multiple outstanding cases. So she's a nice lady. How have I spent 27 years on this planet, and I've been in court once as a witness when I was punched in the face by an idiot, and once to fight for parental rights for my kids? How's that all I have? And some of these ratchets, they go to court every month. Just a retaining with a public defender. Don't you pay for it after? Or is she destitute? Oh, she just got a new couch. She could sell that. Well, it's probably too stained, but she could sell her couch and then get a lawyer. Well, no. No, what? Who? No. Oh, because Marissa doesn't need a second husband. Oh, you don't. You get a public defender and you don't pay. Well, that's the difference in Denmark, because even though you can get whatever lawyer you want, you will still have to pay. You'll have to pay them after, because they will have a retainer fee or they'll have a fee that is paid out by the state, and then you will have to pay that later. So all lawyers gets paid the same to do a court case, but it'll be dependent on of the hours spent in court and stuff like that. But you will have to pay it back, and the judges are the ones who fill out the time card for the judges, the lawyers, when they get paid. So they're pretty strict, and they don't really take. All of them tries to do that. Well, I had to travel to the prison to talk to him, and so I need payment for this and that, and that's it. No, you could have done it via Zoom. You chose to go there, and normally they will have like 10 clients and do all of them, and then they'll try to get a judge to sign off on the transportation. But that's the games they play. Why would you pay for it after? Because we give it to you upfront, and then we'll recuperate the money when you're done with your case. My divorce case, for instance, I paid him during the case, and then when the case was done, I paid the rest of it. But if you're a criminal who has no money, and you really want to have Bradel as your defense lawyer, and you live in a state where he's barred, you just say, I want Bradel, and you get Bradel. But you're poor, you don't have any money. Well, that's fine, because you'll get, maybe you get a pension, or you get wages, or you get whatever you get, Social Security. They'll just recuperate the money for Bradel in your income later. So you will pay your lawyer. It's cheaper to just pay it off when you're done, because hey, but you'll pay after, because if you win your case, if you're found not guilty, then it's upon the state to pay for your lawyer. You won't incur any court costs if you win your case. Then and sometimes if it takes a long time, because maybe it got pushed because of the state doesn't have time to do the case, we will also find that the defendant doesn't need to pay their lawyer. The state has to pay the court cost, because they fucked it up. So you could be found guilty and don't have to pay court cost, because it's upon the state that it took so long. So you shouldn't be burdened by that. No, but you still get some income. So in Denmark, she would lose part of her EBT benefits. Probably also end up in jail. Yeah, well, in Denmark, you will get your money when you're in jail, because you can work in prison. But then we don't forget you. Remember, you owe the state. We are a socialist country. We will get your money. Well, unless you're a career criminal, they'll just say fuck you and never pay it back. Krusty needs to be put in jail. She's never going to stop what she does until she does some time. Yeah, as she has been writing too much on her relationship with the Commonwealth. I'm assuming this is a circus, but for a few grand, you could get a great lawyer to kick it off. I believe that the town bicycle had, did she put down $2,500 or $5,000 retainer, which I think should get you that's probably what I paid for my divorce. So it should get you a pretty decent lawyer. but I don't think she paid him something. Brandon, we are talking about people who believe that the money on the EBT card is something that the magic fairy puts on there. It's not because you go to work and pay your taxes. Come on now. It's just we deserve this money. These people don't know what money is. They never earned $1 in their life. I'm not being greedy. I'm being socialist. Well, you're more socialist than we are. I just saw that, no, not your governor. The governor of Massachusetts gave free lunch to all the school kids. And I'm thinking, how socialist are you? The farmer who grew the crops are not getting paid. The cook who prepared the meal is not getting paid. The people who clean up after is not going to get paid. You're more socialist than I am. We're smart enough to know there's no such thing as a free lunch. It's all taxpayer funded. But in Massachusetts, they have free lunches. Oh, I wrote that M looked like an I and an N. I thought, what the hell is a porn ski? I didn't watch it. I'd never watched the Howie Carr show. I don't know him. So again, I don't watch much of all this true crime coverage. I do it all the time myself. I don't have time to watch all the other shows. Well, they do steal the food because it was free lunch, and you can't have free lunch unless you steal the food. Now that you can't just buy horrible stuff on EBT, why learn how to? Isn't there a lot of bodegas who scam in New York with EBT? I read it on the news. It's probably not right. Yeah, we will get a social security check, and we don't have food stamps, but you'll have what you have. You can have, if you live in social housing. Our social housing is not like Chapter 8 or whatever it's called, Section 8 housing. It's just a normal apartment, but they were built with government funding, and so. But if you live in one of those, they will garner your rent before you get your money, because so many people who live there has a little bit of a drinky poo problem or smoky poo problem or problem. So they can take your rent out of your paycheck, which is just benefits from the state anyway. It's not really free food. It's said in the headline, and I read Healy's tweet yesterday, and she said free food. And I trust politicians, Marissa. Stop hating on her. I think she also, like Sue from Boston, will claim it's a hate crime because she's LGBTQ. You have to pay $150 for the public defender, and if you can't pay that, you have to do community service. Oh, interesting. But how about court costs? Is that the $150? Because she was ordered to pay court costs. So she will be out stripping copper cables tonight. I saw 2 clips of it, and it was just commercials, him talking about, and again, you're putting this big hoo-ha on, oh, I'm having an interview with Karen Reed, and all you do is have her look at some rubber duckies and then push your book. By the way, I will, for my next book, remember, I have written more books than Plevin. I have written 4 books now. I will also have, I think I'll ask Aiden to come back and really hype it up and say, Aiden will come back and do the tell-all about his relationship with, I don't know, how Aiden got inside of the Adelson family. Details you never heard. And it'll just be me for 45 minutes with maximum advertising running on YouTube. Me saying, oh, by the way, I wrote this new children's book about a human thumb who sits in an attic and has now turned into cold cases and had a stupid dog on called Caffy Daffy the other day. And by the way, thank you, Aiden, for coming. And then I'll leave again. Well, it's not like Section 8 because you don't have to be a certain income level to live there, for instance. It's just because back when we had the big urbanization, they built better housing, and all of it needs to be renovated right now because it's shit. But I lived in it at some point, and I didn't get special benefits or anything to live there. It was just because that's where there was an empty apartment. Is there Section 8 in every state? I don't know. I think she is writing a book. I know she has a book deal, so let's wait for that one. 150 covers everything, including PI. Okay, so she's $150 out for today. The woman who has no money. Yeah, we sadly that's a lot of these. Well, we actually, where I live was like step 1, and then you can go to step 2. That's more like barracks, and step 3 is a special place where they're really bad drug addicts, and in the end, you can just end up in a shelter. But the other case that we have been following that I wanted to talk about today is the Brian Walshe, because they had a hearing. It wasn't televised anywhere. I couldn't find it. They have denied his motion to dismiss the case because Larry Tipton had asked for it to be tossed out. And he argued in the July 24th hearing, we covered that, I believe, that evidence presented to the grand jury did not establish probable cause that Walshe killed Anna, premeditated, malice, aforethought. Yes, we covered that. It was a weird argument because it's one of those, it can arise in the moment. So it's really, so he unalived her but didn't think to do it. Or extreme atrocity or cruelty, which are legal basis for first-degree unaliving. Consequently, the murder indictment must be thrown out, Tipton said. In a 7-page order denying the motion, Judge Diane Frenier wrote that the grand jury saw evidence suggesting Walshe had motive to unalive his wife in the early morning hours of New Year's Day on 2023 and took steps in advance to conceal the crime. The evidence presented to the grand jury sufficed to establish probable cause to warrant insurance of the indictment, Frenier wrote. Come on. Walshe's trial is scheduled to begin October 20th. The grand jury had reason to believe that the Walshe's marriage was in distress and Brian Walshe had motive to unalive Anna, Frenier wrote. Grand jury evidence showed Anna was having an affair with William, a real estate professional in D.C., where Anna worked. Interviewed by investigators, Fastow said that he and Anna had been dating openly in D.C. for several months and the relationship had recently become serious. The two spent Christmas and Thanksgiving together in 22, according to court documents. Evidence suggests Anna told Brian she had a crush on Fastow, whom she frequently texted and messages via Instagram. Frenier wrote these messages would sometime appear on Brian's devices. In the days before Anna's disappearance, Brian Walshe searched Fastow's name numerous times, Frenier wrote. He also searched best states to divorce for a man on December 27th and found that Massachusetts was the third worst. So unaliving is a better option in Massachusetts, allegedly. Anna's best friend, Alyssa Kirby, testified before a grand jury that the Walshes had a big argument related to their 3 young children whom Anna wanted to move from Cohasset to Washington, Frenier order states. But Brian had reason to keep the kids. Having pleaded guilty to art fraud, evidence suggests he wanted to present himself as the children's primary caregiver in hopes of receiving home confinement rather than federal prison time, Frenier's order says. Investigators visited Anna's Washington, D.C. apartment, found that she had made preparation for her 3 children to move in, court documents show. Frenier also noted that Anna Walshe had multiple life insurance policies with Brian Walshe as the beneficiary. Summing up evidence of Walshe's motive, Frenier wrote, "The grand jury could infer that Brian knew about Anna's affair, with, though their marriage was likely coming to an end, did not want to go to a federal prison and viewed her death as more beneficial to him than divorce." In her court order, Frenier cited grand jury testimony of Kim Mutlu, a Boston real estate agent and Anna's former boss, who the Walshes hosted for a dinner party on New Year's Eve. In grand jury testimony, Mutlu acknowledged that the Walshes' ongoing marital problems, but said the mood that night was jovial, describing Brian's behavior as very attentive. Frenier wrote, Mutlu testified that all three signed a champagne box, and Brian wrote, "Jem, Anna, Brian, New Year's Eve 2023, to the best triumvirate ever." That's Caesar, Marius, and what's his name? Croesus. Is that how you call him? I don't know. But that's the best triumvirate. Days later, when Walshe told Mutlu that Anna had disappeared, Mutlu asked if they had an argument, to which Walshe replied, "Did it look like we were having an argument that night? You saw us." The grand jury could infer from such an interaction that Brian had used the New Year's Eve dinner with Mutlu as a facade so that Mutlu would deflect any suspicion away from Brian when Anna went missing, Frenier wrote. So Brian Walshe didn't get his case tossed, but they are in a holding pattern when the prosecutors continue to sort through sealed federal investigation file that could potentially impact his upcoming murder trial in October 20th. Blah, blah, blah. During a brief 10-minute status hearing in Norfolk County Superior Court, Brian and his attorneys appeared via Zoom, but did not speak. Assistant District Attorney Lisa Beatty provided updates on ongoing discussions between state and federal prosecutors regarding the controversial Proctor files. The files stemmed from the federal investigation into Karen Reed case and contained communication from former Massachusetts State Trooper Michael Proctor, who was fired from his position following revelation of biased and inappropriate text messages about Reed doing her investigation. Brian's defense team, along with attorneys for 4 other Norfolk County defendants whose cases involve Proctor, has been pushing for access to these materials under Rule 14. The rule mandates prosecutors turn over potentially exculpatory evidence that could benefit the defense. You go away now. You go. Move. Get out the way. I don't want you. Shush. The documents were originally slated for destruction on July following statutory deadline. However, federal judge Denise Kaspers has extended the timeline while prosecutors review the materials to determine what should be disclosed to Brian and other defendants. The current arrangements creates a 2-tier system for handling the sensitive materials. Non-grand jury evidence can be shared with Brian and other defendants at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office discretion. Any request to disclose grand jury material must go through a federal judge. Beatty said prosecutors are continuing to review the files to identify material that should be turned over to the defendant. The complex workflow of separating grand jury from non-grand jury has slowed the process, and you not doing your job. The presiding judge highlighted a key concern raised by defense attorneys. How can they challenge the withholding of records if they don't know what those records contain? The Commonwealth was asked to address this procedural drama before the next hearing. They also was asked to do that last hearing, I believe. Blah, 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 blah. The connection between the case underscores the far-reaching impact of Proctor's conduct, which led to his termination and has now created ripple effects across multiple Norfolk County prosecutions. As Brian's October trial date approaches, his attorney has previously expressed concern about the ticking clock and the need for adequate time to review any disclosed materials. The next status hearing, September 15, where the court will expect further clarification on the document review process and the Commonwealth's response to defense concerns regarding the challenge of withheld evidence. So, Brian Walshe didn't get his case tossed out, and there is nothing new about the Rule 14 material that we have been waiting for now for 2 months, I believe. Why? How? Who is eating your week? Just give him a bowl and they will leave you alone. It was weeds. Yes. I bought a computer. That's why all my ads are for computers right now. Marissa needs to go to bed. She is really... Brandon, she's giving you a run for the money today. I don't know what's wrong with her. What's got into you, Marissa? Biggest Oregon computer organ trail. Yeah. Do you have gas weed whackers in DK? Of course, we're not a third world country, Marissa. Do you know I can see you in color as well? Of course we have gas weed whackers. Yeah, don't set fire to Sue's weed. She'll get mad. Glad it's not the Baldo ads anymore. I never had a Baldo ad. I never been to that website. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with you. But I think that was the updates and the Krusty I have for today. It's Friday. We need to go out, smell the roses, touch Sue's weed. And Marissa really needs to try and come down. She's a little frisky today. I don't know what's gotten into her, but very frisky. We have Amazon Sweden now for Scandinavia. I don't think it's rolled out in Denmark yet. No, I don't need to look for Baldos because I've seen them in real life, well, on screen. And I don't like things tugging on my nuts. So I don't think it would. How do you explain your avatar? It's because you're the official spokesperson for the WNBA. No, we are waiting for Al Gore to come to Denmark and give us some internets. Not a fresh haircut. I got my haircut on the 18th as normal. I always go about 17 and 18. Go back and listen to the Adelson wiretaps. Are you effing kidding me? I felt sorry for every creator I looked at yesterday. I went from Brother Council to Brandy Churchwell. Well, that's not that far. It's B2B. But every creator I swung by yesterday was sitting like this. So, hey, can I call you back? What? I'm going over the bridge. I'll call you back. Oh, okay. Hey, you called. Yeah. Can I call back? I'm calling you later. Hey, someone called me puta. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know what that means. I don't like that. Make it stop. So, are you going there? It was amazingly boring. The only good parts was when we found out that Charlie Adelson and Brandon has something in common: a phone full of PP pics. Charlie Adelson is of his own PP. Brandon says it's for research. I don't know if she's on the brownies. I watched Ricada many a time talking about the Baldo. You know how to use it as well. I've seen you in that chat as well. Well, thank you. It's the same I've had since 2001. No, I'm really fond of them. I don't like it. It was so weird watching Bob and Allie. It was like a married couple arguing, but we know they are a married couple, but they were arguing someone else's argument. It was really weird. It was that was weird. Oh, well, of course I have. Well, Brandon isn't going to drink a beer. It's Friday. It's beer time. Do I have anything that's a little longer than 2 seconds? I have this one. This is a minute. I'm not going anywhere. I'm getting the beer. It's Friday, and even though Brandon claims I'll still drink his Friday's beer. I'll be right back.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh my God, Baker's a clairvoyant. Jesus.
That's a really, really good argument for why you make this evidence number 100. The judge is
Oh
going to
my God.
love you.
Oh Lord, this is the funniest thing I think I've seen
Again,
in a
please.
while.
And people wanted to watch the
Farrell, clip
business.
that.
Yeah. Should business who? Look at this. This is much better.
Clumps, talk amongst yourselves.
Are we
Barbara
ready?
Streisand and Funny Girl.
Yes.
Your Honor, I apologize.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100. Because it is 100% correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
Do you see the lawyer's face? Okay, we have to go back and edit
Look at
because
this
I want to see.
guy. Oh my God. I'm pointing at the screen like anyway.
Well, Brandon, I'll have it for you then. And then you stay healthy and no, I don't color my hair. I just got more lighting in my room. So that's why I look blonder. But it's Friday. Friday is a Brandon beer. Everyone, if you're ready, let's drink along. Ooh. Oh, you were the one that got absolutely crazy. Well, Marissa is not. She's too mean. Well, a little late. Sorry. But everyone, Friday. Remember Friday night beer fund. Thank you so much, Brandon. Oh. I don't know. The beers I have in this 6-pack are really, they're very foamy. So I'll spend the next 5 hours burping like a crazy person. Oh, well, I'm glad you joined me. Valhalla didn't. But it's Friday. And as always on Fridays, tonight at somewhere around 9 p.m. Sorry. The expert will have Friday Night Live. Apparently, there's a big change. Probably the big change is I'm not being invited back ever again because Walshe made Mo sick one more time, and I get the blame. I think that's why I even wore my Tennessee shirt today, just hoping that I would get an invite back at some point. But last week, no invite. This week, no invite. But you should still go watch the show because it is the best show you can watch on a Friday night with the most wonderful people that you can hang out with and Sue. Over the weekend, I don't know. If I find something, if I see something, I say something. Isn't that how it is in Americas? This is our big spurt, the cock of the walk, spur. I can't see. I need contacts. You need a new job, you need a pancreas, and you need contacts. Santa is going to get busy at your house this year. Well, we found out some bad news about that team this morning. What team? Who? What did I miss? I don't know. Oh, the Spurs? What show am I talking about? Well, I'm talking about Friday Night Live on the Experts channel. Maybe one of the mods can share the Experts link. It's a fun show. It's just people having fun, hanging out for a couple of hours, shooting the shit. It's kind of like you did with your friends back in the day. I normally join a little bit later, but Walshe is there, the Experts there, the White Rabbit, Diva. Well, I don't know if I'm invited. Valhalla. People will jump in, talk crazy stories, talk about how Arizona isn't a real place, how Oregon and Oklahoma is states right next to each other, and how all of you have been lied to about that. The validity of birds. We will talk about almost anything on that show and have some fun. And none of my mods shared it. Thank you, mods, for sharing the Experts link. Snitches get stitches. They do. BB, is crime in Denmark anything like here in America? You have more drug problems than we have. You have more homeless problems than we have. Of course, you also have easier access to firearms, but according to what I see all of your politicians talk about, just take the guns away and no one will get shot. Well, we also have people getting shot by people who shouldn't be carrying weapons. Funny enough, all the criminals do it. So crime, it's lower, but it's crime. A certain percentage of any given population will always be criminal. You're just a bigger country, so you will see more crimes being reported as in America. Imagine if you looked at it state by state, how much of America would be more like the rest of us. Because you're also 365 million people and we are 6 million. So everything looks bigger in America, especially us Europeans, because we are an inch bigger on average. But yeah, your statistics will probably show if you bottle it down, it'll be about the same. Yeah, do that. Oh, thank you, Marissa. You're faster than Brandon. That's why Marissa is in the lead of running for Mod of the Year 2025. Another job she stole from Brandon. But if you go to this channel, it's the best Friday night show you can have. Oh, you're 400 million now? Yeah, so yeah. Well, we have a lot of stupid people in Denmark as well. That's why I make money as a layman. I convict a whole lot of them. Stupidity isn't an American thing. You're simpletons on certain topics because You probably don't focus on it in school, but on average, you're probably just as smart as we are. The expert will give you ADHD. Well, he won't give it to you, but he has it. Yeah, Middle America is probably, well, if you stay out of the big cities and the Middle America, this is how it is in Scandinavia, not Sweden. Sweden, I think, has more bombings per capita than any other country in the world except war zones, because they, if you think your immigration policies might have been a little lax over the years, you don't want to know about Sweden's. Shizzy will try and yeet the channel. Oh, and Shizzy will try and yeet the channel. Yeah, he will always try and get something played on that will end up striking the channel. Well, not giving Brandon a new job and calling him a crazy candidate probably put a target on you as well. Just stay away from Iris. Nothing bad will happen. But everyone, please join the expert tonight. It's a really good channel, and we need some more people to come watch it because it's a really fun show. And it's Friday night. What else are you doing? It's not like you are out huffing blow off the buttocks of a young lady, except if you're Brandon, and that's why he got sick. But if you're not in the middle of a rusty trombone, an Abraham Lincoln, or a Dutch snowblower, please check out The Expert tonight around 9-ish. And if anything comes up over the weekend, I will probably do another stream, or I might just do a stream sitting here doing this.
What exhibit are you referring to?
I'm going to make this 100, Your Honor.
All right.
100.
100.
Because it is 100%
100%.
correct.
Objection, Your Honor.
So you literally.
It's
built a
Brandon
cannon?
Lesko. You can see
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right, I'm in love.
Go back. Please do that again. Oh, that was the cutest thing I've ever seen.
While I'm waiting for this, did you, whether it's true or not, believe that Mr. Randolph had slept with your wife?
I wouldn't care.
You wouldn't have cared?
No,
Did you believe he had slept with your wife?
no,
Did you believe he slept with your mother-in-law?
probably did. Everybody has.
So there-
Everybody has.